Hi, here's Michael Leander. I'm in Gdansk in Poland for the CMO Congress 2013, and I'm here with one of the other speakers. He's a brilliant direct marketer, a great copywriter, a fantastic speaker, and most importantly, very, very experienced in marketing. And I asked him to answer a few interesting questions. Hi, Andy.
Hi, Michael.
Why don't you start by telling us who you are, in case there are a few people out there who don't know who you are?
My name's Andy Owen. I'm a direct marketer. I live and breathe direct marketing. I write copy, I create campaigns, direct and digital campaigns, and I've been in the business for 31 years.
So having that sort of experience, what do you see as the most challenging areas of direct marketing today?
Well, one of the most challenging areas, I think, is to get people to study, Michael. There is so much information out there, so many greats that have left us so much stuff. And I find that the marketers of today, especially the young marketers, think it's all just begun. And there is nothing that they can learn from people of old. And there's a lot of guys and ladies that have left us a lot of great stuff, and I would ask marketers to please study the work of Ogilvy and Caples, and Hopkins and Bill Jamie, the greatest copywriter that's ever walked the earth. Please dig out the stuff and learn from them, because you can only benefit from it.
Excellent advice. And when we look at copywriting specifically, there tends to be different beliefs, so let me ask you this question. Do you believe that you need to write copy specifically for the web and specifically for print and specifically for whatever channel, or would you be able to adapt the same copy that you use for print in an online sphere?
No, copy can be adapted. Obviously there are different things. I mean, you take email as opposed to direct mail. When you're writing a direct mail letter, when I write a direct mail letter, everybody does it differently, of course, but I always start with a headline, a very strong headline, and then work the letter from that headline. Yeah. But with emails, of course, it's slightly different, because you've got that pesky subject line, which is constantly a challenge for all of us. But once you get into the email, of course, the techniques and the skills of the direct marketing copywriter can apply within the email. So you've still got to use the words that make people do things, and you've got to use all the techniques that we've learnt over the years. With web copy, yeah, there's a certain amount of selling copy, but there's a certain amount of telling copy with web as well. So you've got to adapt it to the medium, of course you have, yes.
And very interesting, thank you for that. If we look at another thing, which is the whole debate about short versus long copy, what's your take on that?
Well, it's a simple one, really. You take as long as it needs to make the sale. That's the trick. Because if you only need a single page letter to make the sale, and you write 2 pages of copy, then what you're doing is you're rambling. And the professional copywriter knows that one of the most important skills is edit. Yeah. So, but if you're trying to sell something that takes 2 pages and you try and cram it all on one, it's going to look like a real dog's breakfast, and it isn't going to work for you.
Excellent advice as well. So one of the last questions I have relate to headlines. Do you find that people spend enough time on getting the headline as good as it can get, or do they often leave it to chance?
What did Ogilvy say? Headline, a good headline is 90 cents on the dollar, because a headline is so important. You look at how people read newspapers. You're on a train, let's say, and you watch how people are reading newspapers or reading magazines in a doctor's waiting room, and they're turning the pages like this, and then all of a sudden they'll stop, and it's the headline that stopped them. Yeah. So if the headline isn't good, nobody's going to read the body copy. It doesn't matter how good the body copy is. If the headline doesn't stop them, then they ain't going to read the copy. So good headlines are gold dust, Michael. Absolute gold dust.
Thank you. That's what I was hoping you would say. So just out of curiosity, I know you do a lot of copywriting for clients all over the world. And maybe you don't want to reveal this information, but how long do you typically plan for writing a great headline? How many hours?
Well, it can sometimes, the headline can sometimes come. I wrote an award-winning letter on a train journey into London one day. I started it as I plugged my laptop in on the train, and an hour and a half later I had written the letter. I had to go back and obviously amend it and tweak it, but basically I wrote that letter. Yet there's other times when, you know, you're writing something and you know it's not right. It's not far from being right, but it isn't right. And sometimes it can take 2-3 weeks before you get it right.
Very interesting.
And of course, if you have 2 headlines and you can't make your mind up, then don't let the client decide. Insist that the client tests them.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks for that advice, Andy. So how can people get a hold of you?
Well, my website, Andy Owen and Associates, andyowen.co.uk, and copywritingthatsells.com. I'm on there, but if you just Google Andy Owen, no problem.
You and the football player will come up.
No, that's Michael Owen.
Oh, that's Michael Owen. Sorry about that. And I know you have a lot of free content on your website, right?
Yeah. I write a regular industry article. I have done that for now 15 years. It's called Copycat. It's read and enjoyed by over 10,000 people around the world, and those are all free to download. Nearly all of them are 2,000-word articles with examples, and I write it as I see it, so I don't take any prisoners, Michael.
Excellent. Thanks a lot for your time, Andy.
My pleasure. Thank you.